That morning, right after Junichi arrived at school, Shinpei showed him something about the king game. Shinpei asked if things had progressed between Junichi and his girlfriend. Junichi admitted that nothing much had changed. Shinpei then suggested that what Junichi needed right now was to play the king game. Junichi questioned why they should play a game like that if it was just the two of them. Shinpei explained that Junichi needed help from his friends. He said that girls tend to lower their guard when they're having fun, and that was exactly what the king game was about. Shinpei reminded Junichi that he had 3 awesome friends. Keigo reassured him that the 3 of them would do whatever it took to help Junichi achieve what he wanted. As a favor in return, Shinpei asked Junichi to invite Yukana's friends to hang out at Yukana's house. Junichi agreed to do it. During lunch break, as usual, Junichi was having lunch with Yukana behind the school building. He was trying to figure out how to invite her friends. Yukana noticed that Junichi wasn't paying attention to what she was saying. When he realized this, Junichi apologized and asked what they were talking about. Apparently, Yukana was bringing up plans for summer break. Junichi asked what was up with summer break. Yukana lightly tapped his forehead and said that she wanted to go somewhere with him during the holidays. Junichi asked her to decide where they should go, and she told him she wanted them to do a lot of fun things together during summer. Junichi was surprised that a sweet girl like Yukana was thinking about spending summer vacation with him. If she had invited someone else, maybe it wouldn't have bothered him, but she chose him. He worked up the courage to ask if he could visit her house after school. Yukana was surprised, but shyly said it was okay. Then, Junichi said he also wanted to bring his friends, Ranko and Nene. Yukana's expression suddenly turned cold, and Junichi couldn't figure out why. Yukana said he should let Nene know and she would tell Ranko. Junichi asked why Yukana seemed upset, but she brushed it off and said they would all hang out together after school. The sudden change in Yukana's tone really confused him. Unexpectedly, Yui overheard their conversation. When the final bell rang and school was over, Junichi was waiting for Yukana at the front gate. He felt nervous since he had never been to her house before. Earlier, before leaving class, Yukana had told him to come straight to her house. Junichi mentioned that the others would go home first and then come over later. He started imagining the possibility of being alone with Yukana at her place before the others arrived, and the thought made him blush. He even found himself wanting to kiss her right then and there. Suddenly, Yu called out to him. Surprised, Junichi quickly snapped out of his daydream. Yui asked why he was swaying back and forth like that. Embarrassed, Junichi told her not to worry about it. Yu assumed he must be waiting for someone. When Junichi said he was waiting for Yukana, Yu guessed they were going on a date, but Junichi clarified that they were just going to hang out with a group at Yukana's house. Yu stayed quiet for a moment, and Junichi asked why she hadn't gone home yet. Yu said she had some free time, but Junichi didn't respond. She moved a little closer and repeated that she had time. Junichi didn't really understand what she was trying to say. Eventually, just making small talk, he asked if she wanted to come along too. Naturally, Yu didn't turn down the offer. She said she would go home first and asked him to send her the location by phone. After exchanging contacts, she left. Junichi couldn't figure out why Yu was acting that way. Not long after, Yukana showed up. Junichi asked if it was okay that he had invited Yui to join them. Yukana replied a bit sharply that it was fine, if he wanted to have more people there to make things more exciting. Right then, Junichi got a message from Shinpei. Shinpei reassured him that everything would work out in the end and that they would handle the rest. That made Junichi a bit anxious, wondering if he had just invited some potentially chaotic people to the hangout. When they arrived at Yukana's house, Junichi started to worry that maybe Yukana didn't even see him as a guy. Before they went in, Yukana asked him to wait in front of her room while she changed clothes. She even teased him by saying it was okay if he wanted to peek, but Junichi, clearly flustered, said he wasn't going to do that. Yukana smiled because she knew Junichi would never actually go through with it. Junichi was waiting for Yukana, but curiosity started to get the better of him. Just as he was about to peek through the door, Yukana suddenly appeared, startling him. She invited him into her room. As soon as he stepped in, Junichi was stunned by how different Yukana's room was from a typical guy's room. Everything sparkled and felt warm. Yukana looked a bit shy as she noticed how intently Junichi was looking around. He couldn't help but be amazed. She was dressed casually, and her outfit had a certain boldness to it. Her braided hair gave her a completely different look, and Junichi found himself captivated. Her outfit also revealed part of her chest, which made Junichi even more nervous. Yukana asked him not to stare so much. Embarrassed, Junichi quickly apologized. She then asked if he really liked her chest that much, which only made him more flustered. To change the subject, he nervously asked where her parents were. Yukana casually said they weren't home. That's when Junichi realized she had been upset earlier because he had invited others to come over too. He started to think maybe she had wanted to spend time alone with him, and he regretted not being braver. If only he had picked up on the moment, maybe the two of them could have had the whole evening together. As Yukana got closer, Junichi reached out, unsure of what he was doing, only to be interrupted when Renko, Nene, and Yui suddenly showed up, completely ruining the moment. Junichi was mortified. Yukana asked how Renko had even gotten into the house since she had locked everything. It turned out Renko had used the spare key Yukana usually kept in the same place. Renko asked what Yukana had been planning to do with Junichi, and Yukana admitted she had just been teasing him. Besides, she knew Junichi would never have the guts to try anything inappropriate. Out of nowhere, Nane wrapped her arms around Junichi and jokingly said he could touch her chest whenever he wanted. Junichi quickly asked her to let go. Then, without warning, Yui kicked Junichi, causing him to fall over. Smiling, she apologized and claimed it was an accident. Renko seemed confused about why Yui had joined in all of this, but Yui just asked if visiting a classmate was really that strange. Junichi couldn't believe how what started as a simple visit was now turning into pure chaos. Just then, the doorbell rang. Junichi's 3 closest friends had arrived. He was shocked by how they looked. Shinpei admitted he had dressed up to make an impression on the girls. Keigo had shown up looking like a rebellious character straight out of a manga, and Minoru's outfit was loud and over the top. He even brought 2 recorders with him as some kind of weird introduction. Junichi couldn't understand why the 3 of them would show up dressed like that. Yukana, meanwhile, couldn't stop laughing at the sight. Junichi introduced his friends to everyone. As soon as they saw Renko, they were visibly impressed. Renko then asked what they were planning to do now that everyone was here. Shinpei suggested playing a fun party game, King's Game. Junichi had a feeling he had just let his friends steer the whole direction of the evening. To his surprise, Yukana actually seemed interested in playing. Yu quickly said she hoped no one would make her do anything inappropriate. Keigo and Shinpei were startled and immediately said they weren't that kind of guys. Shinpei added that nothing inappropriate would happen during the game. Nene was eager to start. For her, it was the perfect excuse to get closer to Junichi without anyone stopping her. Renko was also interested. She figured she could use any dares in the game to get closer to Yukana. The first round of the game began. Shinpei asked who the king was. It turned out to be Keigo. He and Shinpei exchanged looks which made Junichi suspicious. They were definitely planning something. He braced himself for an embarrassing or risky dare. But Keigo simply told player number 2 to slap player number 5. Junichi was relieved it was just a harmless punishment. Then Renko, who had drawn number 2, walked right over and slapped him hard. So hard, in fact, that Junichi fell to the floor. Yukana asked if he was okay. Junichi managed to reply that he was fine. Yukana reminded Renko that she shouldn't have slapped Junichi so hard. Renko just laughed it off and apologized to Junichi, who felt relieved since it was just a playful punishment. Shinpei mentioned that everything has its stages and told Junichi to just sit back and observe for now. That made Junichi even more curious about what Shinpei was really planning. The second round of the game started, and this time Yukana was the king. She asked player number 1 to introduce themselves using baby talk. Once they realized Yui was number 1, Renko teased her by saying this would be a good warm-up for her next gal-style livestream. Yui stood up confidently and began introducing herself with a cutesy voice. Renko burst out laughing, and Yukana commented that Yui sounded really sweet when she spoke like a baby. Yui got even more pumped and asked for the next round to start right away. In the next round, Yui became the king. She gave a new order. Player number 6 had to pose like a graver model. It turned out Nane had drawn number 6. Without hesitation, Nane unbuttoned one button on her shirt and leaned forward, striking a pose in front of the guys. She then asked how her pose looked. Junichi was stunned, completely caught off guard by what was right in front of him. Yu quickly pulled Nane back and said no one told her to unbutton anything like that. After that, the game continued with more rounds and lighthearted punishments. Renko and Yukana had to share a Pocky stick. Yukana danced with Junichi, Shinpei, Keigo, and Minoru sang a song together, and Yui even drank an entire bottle of soda in one go. As they kept playing, everyone became a lot closer. Junichi asked Shinpei what he had planned next. Shinpei explained that in the upcoming round, Junichi would get to kiss Yukana, and the rest of the guys would get their moment too. Junichi wondered how that would work. Shinpei revealed that he had secretly modified the chopsticks they used in the game so that one was longer and easier to identify. That way, he could rig the game to become king and control the outcome. He also knew which player got which number. He asked Junichi to hold the sticks so it wouldn't look suspicious if Shinpei won again. Junichi started to question everything. Even if it was part of the game, was it really okay to kiss Yukana just because of a setup like this? As a guy, he felt responsible for dragging the girls into Shinpei's scheme. The next round began and the girls took turns grabbing a chopstick each. Once they all had one, Shinpei shouted that he was the king, assuming everything had gone according to plan. He then gave a new order. Player number 1 had to kiss the king, and player number 3 had to share a deep kiss with player number 2. That instantly caused a stir. Yui objected, and Nene said she only wanted to kiss Junichi and no one else, and both Renko and Yukana refused to follow through. But Shinpei insisted, saying the king's orders were absolute. He then asked who had numbers 1, 2, and 3. To his shock, Junichi had number 1, Keigo had number 2, and Minoru had number 3. Keigo froze, horrified by the thought of having to kiss Minoru. Shinpei accused Junichi of betraying them, but it turned out Junichi had switched things on purpose. He didn't want the girls to be involved in something uncomfortable just for the sake of a joke, even if that meant putting himself in an awkward spot. The girls, catching on to what Junichi had done, encouraged the guys to go through with it. Renko and Yukana reminded them that the king's command couldn't be denied. Yui urged Junichi to act like a man and even pushed him forward towards Shinpei. In the end, they went through with it. Renko had a blast watching it all unfold. She hadn't expected playing with everyone like this would be so fun. Yui couldn't believe she had just witnessed something so unexpected. Junichi had done it all to protect the girls, but he definitely paid the price. Out of nowhere, Yukana leaned in and whispered a quiet thank you to Junichi for what he did. Junichi felt happy knowing that she understood his intentions. Yukana then said it would be fun if they all took a trip together during summer break. Junichi was surprised that Yukana meant everyone. Renko suggested they go to the beach. Yui was in, and Nana got super excited, already thinking about shopping for a new swimsuit. Shinpei and Minoru agreed it really did sound like the perfect summer plan. Dei wanted to join too, but he had already spent his allowance trying to reinvent himself. Junichi admitted he was also low on cash. Yukana suggested they all find part-time jobs together. They still had time to save up before the trip. Nana said it would be so much fun if they could go on a vacation using money they earned themselves. Everyone got pumped up and agreed to work hard so they could enjoy summer break together.